Hello and welcome to another video with myself, Reverend Arlene C. So I wanted to bring forward an energy update as we close off August and we move into September. It's been such interesting energy, and I think I've made a video about this already earlier in the month. And I feel that aspects of August will kind of flow into September as well, where it's very much still in that energy of needing presence, of really needing to be in this awareness, um, not just of your surroundings, but more of yourself. I feel as we step even more into September, it's that need of um, raw truth, right? As we've said often, and again, remember these energies just keep building on each other, and as often as they sound similar in many ways, it's I don't know if amplified is the word, but it could be. We'll just use amplified for now, where it's really always constantly that building, right? And the layers are so thin, right? It's almost like, again, we always come back to the layers, the peeling of like an onion, right? Where really when you see the onion, it is very thin, right? The layers are so thin that get peeled. But like an onion, the impact is hard and you're crying, right? So it's the same idea with this, where it's within ourselves, right? So we are really peeling back these layers and they seem, and because they're so thin, there's so many of them, and each is so very important in our own growth and evolution, right? Where, again, it's very much, as I mentioned earlier, it's very much about this energy of needing to be present in this really deep awareness of these little micro like movements, right? These little micro expressions within ourselves. It's like the littlest of the little twinges that we feel, right? And we're being, in a way, I guess we can say we are really being triggered. But it's these triggers are really happening to bring truth to ourselves. So even if these triggers are being caused by outside, situations, people, environments, it is always very much about ourselves, right? We are really, um, again, it's just that awareness. It's really hitting us, and it's to a point now where you know it's becoming more and more difficult for us to ignore it or try to talk ourselves out of it, or like, and instead of trying to convince ourselves to keep on the same path. um and it's, and like, again, like I said, this is very much of a personal energy for ourselves. And again, we always focus on the outside because it's just sometimes easier than focusing on the inside. And it's not, again, it's not about criticism, it's not about blame, it's not about judgment, but it's understanding, I guess, in many ways too, the way we do judge ourselves, right? We judge ourselves, and the indication of that, or the awareness of that, is how we judge others. And that is really how we are judging ourselves. And that's often why we feel, those intense reactions, responses within ourselves to other people and what they're doing, because it is a reflection of something within ourselves. So I feel as we're moving into September, this is just amplifying more and more, where you are kind of being hit in the face with the things that you've been trying to ignore for so long and talk yourself into, to convince yourself to keep doing and doing. where more and more you're just realizing like, no, and a lot of those things are difficult, where, for an example, for me, it was also, you know, people reaching out to me for different things. And, and it was interesting because it happened. And after that, for days, something was just off in me. I just wasn't feeling right. And I didn't know what it was. And, or more, I guess it's, again, if I'm being honest with myself, I think it was me, again, not wanting to offend anybody, hurt anybody's feelings. So, you try to make space and room for it, right? But that was me again, in some ways, maybe still holding on to some of the people pleaser programs that are still instilled in me, or they're still kind of playing. And once I said to myself, like, whoa, Arlene, it's just really, it's about me honoring the energies I feel, right? It was about me honoring the fact that there's just something about the energy that it's difficult for me to be around. And, and I was just kind of like, I just really don't want to have interaction with this person. I really just don't want to. Like, it just doesn't feel good. And then once I acknowledged that and I said that to myself, it was interesting because then it kind of just went away for me first, right? Like the feeling went away and it was just like, it was that feeling of alignment because I was aligning with my truth and honoring my truth and honoring what I was feeling and acknowledging the fact that it just didn't feel right having interaction with this person. And yeah, it was just interesting how it just kind of fell away. And then there was just no contact. Like, okay, I'm leaving it alone and we'll just let it be for now, right? But it was just more of those things where I'm just like more and more, it's that feeling of, or I'm being shown more and more too, where it's just like I need to stop saying yes to things I really want to say no to. And I feel like, these are an example of some of the things that we are being shown, right? It's even like things in business where maybe there are services you were once offering where now they just don't bring you the joy and satisfaction that they did before, but then you struggle because it's a service a lot of people like. So now you're struggling with, what do I do? I've had these loyal customers who this is the service they always want, and I'm just not feeling it anymore, right? Like these are just examples of things that could be coming up, and you'll be noticing it more and more as September continues growing and building as we move through September, where I feel a lot more of these energies are coming through, where we are having this intense, and sometimes it's not super intense, but it lingers, right? So like for me, it wasn't super intense, but it just kept lingering and lingering and lingering, right? But then for some aspects, there are that really like intense feeling of, oh, just, yeah, no, like, and you feel that right away, right? Sometimes where it's like the phone rings and you see certain names and numbers in your, or emails, and you're just like, oh, just no, right? You have that feeling right away, right? Or somebody's like, oh yeah, let's go out let's catch up and have a coffee, and you're just like, I really don't want to, right? So it's just more of you examining and sitting with these emotions that are coming up. Sitting with where your body's responding to this and being honest with yourself as to why you're having such an intense reaction to what's happening. And it's very much, again, like I said, it's about being super present, being super aware of where you're at energetically. And like I said, it's not a criticism, it's not a judgment, it's not you judging yourself, it's not about you judging others. It's just about, okay, right now, this is what this feels like. Right now, this is causing this reaction in my body. And I need to sit with that and understand why it's happening, you know, and then kind of working with your body to be like, okay, and you know, and you can do different like energy work with your body too, where you can, you stand up, and sometimes I put my hands over my heart, and I'll ask, you know, my body a question, and if it falls forward, it means a yes. If it falls backwards, it means a no, right? So sometimes you can do little, almost like kinesiology kind of muscle testing, like that kind of idea with your body for yes or no's. And because, you know, your body will always react for you. Your body knows before sometimes your conscious brain does. So I will leave that with this for right now. Again, your presence here is always so greatly appreciated. Excuse me. Yeah, until next time, surrounding you all in love. And remember, you are loved, you are seen, you are safe, you are whole. Until next time, have a wonderful day and all the best as we move out of August into September.